happening. We just heard from the CEO at LPT Realty in California. It's dropping on you. I've been teasing for a while about this, and I'm going to fill you in on all the details about what's going to happen with California and LPT Realty right here, right now. Let's jump right into it. So many of you guys might know that LPT Realty, the fastest growing brokerage in U.S. history, has been very methodical about moving state to state and opening those up. And just today, we found out some really important information about the timeline for California and a couple other states and even another country. So I'm going to be breaking that down for you. It's going to be a super short video with something that you don't want to miss at the end, because I'm going to let you know exactly how you can capture a lot of the upside. So whether you're an agent that's solo, a team leader, independent broker, an agent on a team, you got to listen up to what we're doing here. So before we jump into all the details, remember, I'm Isaac Guzman with Real Estate CEOs, and we're here to show you everything that you need to know about LPT Realty and help you grow your business. So make sure that you like this video, comment, subscribe to the channel. And if you do have any questions, make sure that you book some time with us. You can learn more about us by going in the description. There's a link where you can actually learn all about us and even book some one-on-one time with me. So jumping right into it, let's break it down. We've been teasing it for a while. Back when it first started at LPT and when I joined earlier in 2024, the plan for most of the West Coast, especially California, was we're going to hold off until 2025, possibly even 2026, after the IPO for the stock. And that's how that's going to be. And I saw the vision for LPT and I said, you know what, even if it takes a year or two to get started in California, totally fine. I'm on board because I want to help it grow. Right. So that was the strategy. Well, a few months ago, they said, you know what, guys, we're no longer going to hold off on any state specifically. Now, that didn't necessarily automatically mean California's next, right? It's got a big agent population. There's lots of nuance to launching a brokerage in any state, but especially in California. And so with all that said, I wasn't hopeful that, hey, it's going to turn around right away. It still might be 2025, 2026. All they were saying a few months ago was the strategy has changed. They are no longer explicitly holding off on California specifically until after IPO. So I've been talking to a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have been very interested. Actually, there's a large group of California real estate agents that are already planning on making the move, just kind of waiting for that start date. Now, here's what we learned about today on the call, Monday morning motivation with LPT. The CEO, Robert Palmer, announced, he said, in the next 60 days, California is opening. You've heard that. In the next 60 days, we are working to open up the brokerage. We already have a broker that we've hired, actually multiple brokers that we've hired for the states, and this thing is going full force. And so I wanted to make sure that you knew that, you heard about it right away in the next 60 days. So I am actually shooting this video on July 22nd of 2024. So in the next 60 days, California's coming. So if you've been watching and paying attention to the journey of the fastest growing brokerage in U.S. history, LPT Realty, and you're a real estate agent in California, you got to know that this is an important thing. Now, whether or not you're planning on joining, it's still important that you get to know what's up with LPT, and I'll break it down for you in just a second. But even if you're somebody who says, I'll never move my brokerage, I'll never leave my team, anything like that, that's totally fine, but you should know what this model is. Even if you're planning on recruiting against it, you should get to know what the model is like. So I'm going to break that down for you really quickly. So first off, this is why it's the fastest growing brokerage in U.S. history. And it really can be boiled down to one major topic, which is agent choice. So when it comes to compensation, agents have the choice. They can choose a $5,000 flat fee cap for the year. It's paid out $500 per transaction, up to $5,000, right? So after 10 transactions, you're no longer paying that fee. And you can choose to do that model. And there's also a $195 transaction fee on every transaction. You can either choose that model, or you can choose to be what's called a rev share partner or a brokerage partner, where you have an 80-20 split capped at $15,000. Now, why would anybody choose the higher cap? Well, there's a couple additional perks. You get additional stock awards, which I'll get to in just a second. And then you also get the opportunity to participate and receive revenue share if that's something that you're at all interested in. That's a really important thing, because agent choice, there's lots of cloud-based brokerages that offer amazing revenue share programs, but you don't have a choice whether or not you participate in it and whether or not you pay into the system, right? At LPT, If you're not interested in revenue share, which 98% of agents are not interested in revenue share, well, if that's you, then you might not be interested in paying a $15,000, $12,000, $16,000 cap to pay into that system. You might just say, no, I would rather reinvest my money back into my business and see that part of my sales grow. Well, LPT, you get to choose which one you want. And the great part is, if you decide, you know what, I think I'm attracting a lot of agents. This model is really amazing. There's no sign-up fee, no monthly fee, free marketing, which I'll get to in just a second. Well, when you start seeing that and people start joining underneath you, you might end up inadvertently building out a revenue share tree or a revenue share group, and it might make sense to switch over to that plan at some point down the road, which would be awesome, but you don't have to, right? You can make that choice when it suits you. And so you can choose which comp plan suits your needs based on where your business is at. You can actually even go back to the business builder at some point if that makes sense for you and your business. So that's why it's growing so fast, is because you have that flexibility of comp plan. In addition to that, like I said, no sign-up fees, no monthly fees. In addition to that, on every single listing, you get a free listing power pack. And what that is, it's 188 pieces of marketing material for every single listing you take. Trust me, these things are amazing. You're going to want to watch our video on the listing power pack and how we use it to take more listings, sell our listings faster, and get more business from the listings that we take. And so that's amazing stuff right there. Now, LPT has a bunch of other things. It's got online digital marketing ready to go at a push of a button. We've got the best luxury program and luxury network I've ever seen. I've sent it to top producers from all the big luxury brands, and every single one of them says the same thing. This is very impressive, right? And sometimes it's somebody that I'm interested in partnering with and bringing them over to LPT. Sometimes I just want their opinion, and all of them are saying the same thing. Very impressive, really good stuff. Amazing. So you have access to that in LPT as well. And now they actually just introduced LPT Plus, and I have a whole video on that, but it's basically an optional monthly fee that you can pay to access things like Zoodealio, a Real Scout account, an AM Cards account, also health insurance, right? And leads. So these are the types of things that LPT is doing that's really leading the way. And that's why it's growing so fast, is because you have the freedom of choice. You have a low expense option. You have the revenue share option. You're not paying into the system every month. LPT only gets paid when you get paid, or you can opt into a monthly fee that has crazy value, right? And huge savings on things that you might already be using inside your business. And then also that additional leads and coaching. Again, I have a whole video all about that you can watch here on the channel. And let's not forget about it. I mentioned it a couple times. Revenue share is a thing. If you're interested in revenue share, they have an amazing revenue share plan. And what's great about it is, think about, it's not just always about how many dollars do I get per person I bring in. It's also how many people do you bring in. Well, with a model like this, it makes it easier. It's the fastest growing brokerage in U.S. history for that exact reason. It's easy. It makes sense. People just get it. It's really simple for them to understand the value of it. So you're not out there having to recruit and overcome all kinds of objections in this really aggressive way. It's really just exposing people to a really simple model that makes a lot of sense for your average agent, right? So that's an amazing thing. In addition to that, right now, LPT is privately held and is not publicly traded on the stock market, but that won't be forever. So when you get your first, your third, your 15th, and in circumstances where you're on the 80-20 plan on your 35th transaction, you get awarded stock. And every time you bring somebody into the organization, you get awarded stock in a pre-IPO real estate company. And if you haven't been around for very long in the real estate industry, that's a big deal. There's lots of people who participated in other offerings like this at other companies, and it changed their life. And so this is a huge opportunity for anybody in California who's thinking, hey, you know what, maybe I missed a boat on some of these other opportunities. This is our chance. Being one of the first people in California, because this thing's going to grow. I mean, it went in the last 2 years, 12,000 agents in just over 2 years. That's amazing. That's ridiculous growth. And it's not showing any signs of slowing. So there you have it, massive opportunity. And where do you want to go? What's the next step, Isaac? Well, there's a webinar that we're going to be putting on and also be doing live events all across California. So keep an eye out for that. But for now, what you're going to want to do, if you don't want to wait for that webinar, you don't want to wait to hear about everybody else already joining LPT, and you want to get in on the ground floor, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the description in this video. You're going to click that link, book one-on-one time with me, so that way I can walk you through what it would look like to help us actually launch California and capture capture a lot of that upside. There are already some massive partners here in California that I can't name just yet that are planning on making the move. And so I want you to be part of that and at least get the opportunity to be part of that by going through that link and booking some one-on-one time with me. Worst case scenario, you'll learn about the model really well and know everything you need to know about it and make an informed decision. Until next time, happy selling and let's go LPT California.